Hey everybody, welcome back to the Desk of Interesting Things. We are back with another controller unboxing and kind of overview since you guys seem to like the last one. This is something a little bit different. The last one we featured for the Nintendo Switch. This one we feature for the Nintendo 64. Now this is not new old stock. This is a brand new device. It's been out for a little bit now. And it's the Brawler64 for use with the Nintendo 64 from RetroFighters. Now, the idea behind this one is to take that original Nintendo 64 controller that, while innovative, while ahead of its time, kind of solidified the joystick on a controller, did a whole bunch of things that changed the industry, was not comfortable at all, and was not a joy to use for long-term gaming. For much of anything. So the Brawler 64 here addresses those issues. We have a generic or a more standardized, I would say, layout in terms of how you hold your grip. This kind of reminds me more of a Switch Pro style controller. It's inverted here since you don't have that stick joystick that always goes bad and they're starting to break even more and more. You get a standard joystick up here in the location and you get your D-pad here. Now, of course, 95% of those Nintendo 64 games just use the joystick, so this is a much more comfortable setup. But some of the really good WCW, NWO Revenge, and the wrestling style games used this D-pad here. So we're going to see if that holds up as well comfort-wise, because playing those games with an original joystick was actually pretty comfortable. So let's open it up. But let's look at the back real fast and see what it says it can do. The packaging is pretty nice, simplistic, cool colors. It comes in a bunch of them. This is just the stock one here. So let's take a look. Next generation N64 controller uses 2.4 gigahertz wireless technology with a wireless range over 30 feet. That's another. This comes in two form factors. It does come one wired and this one, which is wireless, which is much nicer and much more modern. But both of them seem to be pretty well liked. Now, this features a dual Z digital triggers. If you remember on the Nintendo 64, the Z was right under the joystick and it was just one button. This looks like it places two of them for maximum comfort. Ultra-fast turbo button function. Okay, compatible with memory packs, and that's nice. And responsive analog stick. So enough with the guff. Let's open it up. I don't think we'll be needing our knife this time around. And let's see what we have on offer. Dump this out. We got a couple of things. First, the manual, nice and colorful. Look at that design. Ooh, look at the colors on the inside of this. There's a little retro fighter down there about us. This is a very pretty, very primary color aesthetic going on here, which is very nice. And on the back, you've got a couple of ports here and all that stuff. Cool. So this is nice. This is going to be very helpful, of course, if you need it too. You get a little goodie. You get one of their little Retro Fighter keychain dudes, little Pixel Man here. That's a nice surprise. So we'll add that to the keychain lot. And here's the device itself. It comes in two parts. First, let's look at the controller itself. It is, boy, it is comfortable. Ooh, that fits real nice in the hands. There's the joystick. We want to hear that sound. It has a rubber membrane on top. Doesn't have any grooves. It is smooth, but it is nice and rubbery, so it doesn't slip off. And you can also, because it's more modern, you can put a thumb cover on top of that. Over here, we have our buttons, B, A, C buttons. You can hear that. Should be able to hear that. They sound and feel pretty nice. No complaints there. They are a little bit shallow, but I don't think that should be an issue. We got our start button, got our turbo button over here, and we got our clear button over here to clear what you are doing. Now, for the D-pad, that actually is in a decent spot. That's actually pretty comfortable. I don't think I'm going to have any problems with that. Little bit mushy, but very hard to make a really good D-pad nowadays. So we'll look at the top. We've got the L and R, and we've got the dual Z's, which looks like R1 and R2. You can use those however you would like. Brawler64 here on the back, and that's your uncle. But look right here, we have a charging thing, and that looks to be USB-C. So let's see what else. We got one more important thing in the package. So you're wondering, Yeah, that looks wireless. That looks comfortable. That looks sleek. But where in the heck am I going to put my memory cards? It says it is compatible. Well, that's what you get this for. This is the memory card attachment. And this attaches normally to your Nintendo 64. I would assume, of course, that this is also the receiver for the wireless functionality of the Retro Fighter or the Brawler 64 here. And this feels a good bit weighty. So it's got a nice little style. It'll plug in straight on, so it will be in this vertical position. That way you're not actually covering any other joystick ports that you want to use, and you can plug in your memory card, which is nice. That does mean that there is no ability to put in rumble packs, and I'm not sure if this has rumble built in. Let's take a quick look. FAQ. Okay, we got analog stick. We got the buttons, 2 prongs. We got a reset button on the back. I don't know. I'll find out. If there is, I will let you know. So, this is the Brawler 64. Very simple. I have smaller than probably normal hands, so this fits really nicely and gives enough room there. The buttons feel nice. It's light, but it isn't cheap feeling light like you may get in a third-party controller. Now, again, these come in 2 models. There's one that you can plug in, and then there's wireless one for use with the Nintendo 64. I think these type of controllers, there's a couple of different ones on the market. RetroFighters does some. There's a couple other companies that do a number of them. I think these really are game changers. If you are going back to play the Nintendo 64, or if you're like me, an avid player still to this day for so many titles, it's the older you get, the more difficult and unwieldy that joystick control setup, because you had that triangle, that weird triangle or 3-pronged controller. It just becomes much more uncomfortable, especially with the joystick being that solid piece of plastic, right? It digs into your hand, and the joysticks are now all starting to fall apart, and it just becomes a bit of a mess. So if you really, really do want to go back and enjoy the classics, you need a controller like this. It will absolutely change your enjoyment of old games. And in fact, today I picked up a number, about 4 or 5 Nintendo 64 titles that I already didn't have, simply because I wanted to get some time on this controller. So this is it. This is the RetroFighters Brawler 64 controller. This is the wireless edition. This is all the stuff you get in this wonderful little package. If you want one, there'll be a link in the description to Amazon where you can get one. Of course, we don't have any association with RetroFighters. We don't make any money. It's non-affiliate link. So if you want to go check that out, that's totally fine. Doesn't help us in any way. But if you do want to help, if you do want us to look at other controllers, maybe for other systems, maybe for other retro systems with modern controllers, there's stuff from the Sega Saturn and the Sega Genesis and other consoles, we would be happy to do that. Let us know in the comment. If you want more of that, the best way to do that is to like, comment, subscribe, join the channel, help us grow. We are getting close to 1,000 subscribers on this channel, this little goof around channel, which is pretty cool. And we've had a lot of comments and a lot of people join up, and it's been nice seeing the comments and stuff. So until next time, you guys take care of yourself. Have a fantastic day, night, whatever it may be, wherever you may be. And we'll see you again in the next video.